Good evening and welcome to Sunday's 6-1.
The headlines this evening. Counting is continuing in the local and European elections. Taoiseach says he won't be going to the country despite strong results for coalition parties.
I think what the people right across the country want me to do is my job. I'm 61 days as the Taoiseach of this country.
An investigation is underway following the fatal assault of a man in Dublin.
Israel faces mounting criticism over devastation and death toll following Gaza raid to free 4 hostages.
And in sports news, Limerick are battling it out with Clare in the Munster hurling final.
Taoiseach Simon Harris has ruled out calling an early general election on the back of his party's performance in the local elections. With more than 440 seats filled, Fine Gael, Fianna Fáil and Independents hold the majority of councils.
On that this evening, and that has begun. Just a quick update on the locals here. 26 seats out of the 40 filled, and count the election for the 6-seater Newcastle West and Adair Rathkeil are both complete, and counting is continuing.
Kathy in Limerick, thank you.
Now, still to come on 6-1, in with the new first-time election candidates celebrate winning seats on local councils across the country.
And in sports news, a busy day again for the Irish at the European Athletics Championships, and boldly going where no team have gone before. Limerick make it 6 Munster hurling titles in a row.
Welcome back to 6-1. The main news again this evening. Taoiseach Simon Harris has ruled out calling an early general election on the back of his party's performance in the local elections. With more than half of the 949 seats filled around the country, Fine Gael, Fianna Fáil and Independents hold the majority of council seats.
Well, let's take another look at the national picture and the number of seats filled so far. 476, around half.
Representing Piltown and Kilkenny County Council will be the first openly gay councillor in the county.
I'm absolutely delighted. It's a badge I'll wear with honour. I'm delighted to, provide a bit more diversity in the county chamber, the council chamber. And look, I think it's always good for different sections of the community to see themselves in positions like the county council, to show that the possibility is there.
There are still seats left to fill and more new faces to become local councillors. Coleman O'Sullivan, RTE News.
Now, time for news and sport. Here's Eamon.
David, good evening to you. Well, Limerick are Munster hurling champions again. John Kiley's all-conquering side had 6 points to spare over Clare, so it's disappointment for the banner, while Limerick can now savour an historic 6 provincial titles in a row.
As so often with Clare and Limerick, these teams were hard to separate today. The league champions challenging the reigning Munster and All-Ireland title holders. The first 15 minutes were tight and physical, and there was no shortage of quality scores. Clare had a goal chance in the 17th minute.
And a brilliant save! What a fantastic save by Nicky Quaid!
But otherwise it was an exchange of white flags until Limerick pushed on, and when Shane O'Brien popped up in the 33rd minute, it was a 4-point game. Clare struggled to retain their own puckouts at times. Despite Nicky Quaid's heroics, they had one last say in the half, which tied it up 110 to 13 points.
Here, Nicky brought a great save.
Limerick opened up a 3-point lead within 10 minutes of the restart, but the real blow came in the 46th minute. Eivor Quilligan caught off his line by Garrod Hegarty.
Watch him hesitate in the bottom of your screen. Will I, won't I? And Garrod Hegarty is just too good.
There was a chance for Clare to stage a comeback, but when Tony Kelly found Mark Rogers, the Scariff man somehow hit the post.
Oh, what a pass from Kelly. Look at this, into the hand of Rogers. Just pass it into the net.
And from there, Limerick were Limerick. John Kiley's men went on to record a 6-point win for their 6th Munster title in a row.
The Munster Championship is just so difficult. It's incredible to even think that we've done 6 in a row, but to be honest with you, I don't really care about the 6 in a row. I just wanted to win the 2024 Munster Championship, because it just puts us in a great position again going forward this year. I know the last couple of years have been unbelievable, it's probably something that we look back on in time to say, how the hell did we do that? But right now I'm just so happy that we're in All-Ireland semi-final.
More history made by the Treaty Men. Ivani Cullen, RTE News.
So Limerick reigns supreme once more in Munster post-match. Our Gaelic Games correspondent Marty Morrissey got some reaction.
Well, as you can see, the excitement continues here with Limerick winning that 6th Munster title in a row. Truly historic. I'm joined by the goalkeeper, Nicky Quaid. Can you put into words, Nicky, what this means to your teammates?
It's very hard, Marty. I suppose obviously this is where we wanted to be at the start of the year when the Munster Championship started, and after the loss to Cork we kind of had a bit of soul searching to do, and thankfully we put a few things right against Waterford and made sure we came today with a huge performance, and thankfully it got us over the line.
This was a huge team effort, but you had 2 magnificent saves again today.
And look, I suppose it's a team game, and we're just delighted that we got over the line. Hego's goal, I think, in the second half gave us a little bit of breathing space, and we had stiff enough breeze in with us in the second half, so we were able to push on, thankfully.
What is it? What is the special thing about this Limerick side? Because nobody has ever done 6 Munster Championships in a row.
I suppose, man, look, there's a few things. Maybe like we're extremely united as a group. Like we're so together, and I suppose all we want to do every day we go training is just to push ourselves and make sure we get better. And we're constantly trying to raise our standards the whole time. And that's all you can do. Make sure that we're raising our standards, and then hopefully that's enough then to get us wins.
Well, congratulations to you, Nicky Quaid. Congratulations to Limerick, and I've no doubt that Limerick will be the place to be tonight as they celebrate the 6th Munster Championship in a row.
Thanks indeed to Marty there. Now, 2 games in the Tailteann Cup today. Laois got the better of New York, 4 points the winning margin. London lost out to Antrim and Belfast, 3-11 to 2-10 the final score, so the Ulster County progress. The quarter-final draw for the Tailteann Cup will take place tomorrow morning on Morning Ireland. In the Ladies Football Championship, Cork recorded an emphatic win over Laois and Ballybuffet. Meanwhile, Donegal and Kerry played out a draw, 1-6 to 9 points, the final score in that game. And Dublin and Mayo were in action today too. Carla Rowe's goal helping the reigning All-Ireland champions to a 110 to 5 points victory. And it was a busy day again for the Irish at the European Athletics Championships. Ciara McGee and Rashida Adeleke and Charlene Maudsley are all in action later. Thomas Barr is still on track to secure his 2nd medal of the week.
Today, after collecting his gold medal, it was back to business for Thomas Barr, competing in Heat 1 of the 400 metres hurdles. A late surge saw him into the semi-finals with a win and a season's best time.
First round is always a little bit nerve-wracking because don't exactly know where we are. Like big boost of confidence off of the relay run, but hurdles is a whole different ball game when it comes to it.
Despite a personal best time, Kelly McGrory failed to progress from her 400 metres hurdles heat. Mark Smith clocked a season's best time to make tonight's semi-finals of the 200 metres. As the final qualifier, Cork's Nicola Tuthill set a new under-23 national record as she qualified for tomorrow night's hammer throw final. She is now guaranteed a top 12 finish in her Senior European Championships debut.
Just everyone around is really, really nice. All the girls as well, because I feel like they all know each other, but for the young ones coming in, they're really nice to all of us as well, which is nice just to be able to look up to them and then come and compete against them. Hiko
Tanosa came home 43rd in the men's half marathon, with Shona Heaslip 34th and Emily Haggard-Carney 64th in the women's event. Dave Kelly, RTE News.
And within the last few minutes, Carlos Alcaraz has won the French Open. The 3rd seed was taken to... And that is all your sports news for now, so it's all yours again. Eileen.
Thanks very much, Eamon. Good evening and welcome to Sunday's 9 o'clock news. The headlines tonight. Taoiseach rules out calling an early general election after the government party's performance in local elections.
Because we've lots to do, because the 3 parties in government want to get on with the work, because I'll be back at my desk tomorrow morning working hard on issues that matter to the people.
Israel's War Cabinet Minister Benny Gantz quits emergency government in row over post-war strategy for Gaza. Garda investigation underway after man is killed in assault in the Finglas area of Dublin overnight. And Limerick beat Clare to make it an historic 6 Munster hurling titles in a row. Taoiseach Simon Harris has ruled out calling an early general election on the back of his party's performance.
Any Vodafone would appear to have the lead there at the moment.
All right, Pascal, Pat and Samantha, thank you all. Now, still to come on the 9 o'clock news, Rashida Adeleke and Charlene Maudsley among the Irish to progress at the European Athletic Championships. Welcome back to the 9 o'clock news. Israeli War Cabinet member Benny Gantz has resigned from Benjamin Netanyahu's government, delivering a blow to the Prime Minister. The 34-year-old man who was the victim of a fatal assault in North Dublin overnight has been named locally. Mark Carroll was discovered with serious injuries at a house in Finglas in the early hours of this morning.
Gardaí and emergency services were called to a house in the Scribblestown area of Finglas shortly after 1 o'clock this morning.
With polls due to formally close across Europe in around 45 minutes, predictions of a swing to the far right are proving correct in a number of countries, although the centre parties in the Parliament should still form a comfortable majority. For the latest, let's go live to our Europe editor, Tony Connolly, who's at the European Parliament. Tony, we've had projections and national estimates. What kind of overview are we seeing at this stage?
I suppose the big picture, Eileen, is that trend that was started on Thursday in the Netherlands of a swing to the far right has been repeated in Germany and France. And of course, those are big populous countries, so they'll return a lot of MEPs. But there still should be a majority of, if you like, pro-European constructive parties in the middle block of the European Parliament as a result of these elections, even though the centre-left and the Liberal group will lose seats. So what we have at the moment is, and this is a projection, the European People's Party, which of course is where Fine Gael sits, they will get 186 seats. That's up from 176 in 2019. The Socialists and Democrats, the centre-left, they will get 133 seats. That's down from 139 in 2019. Renew, which is the Liberal group, and that's where Fianna Fáil sits, they're falling from 102 seats to 82 seats, and that's quite a big drop. The Greens also suffering quite badly. They're projected to get around 53 seats, and that's down from 71. So that leaves two big new far-right or hard-right groups that are going to be expanded here. The European Conservatives and Reformists, they are looking at around 70 seats. Now that's up one compared to last time around, but they are going to get possibly as many as 22 MEPs once those votes start coming in from Italy. Identity and Democracy, that is really a properly far-right party. They're looking at around 60 seats. 15% is Renaissance Party in France. Marine Le Pen, who runs the National Rally, they were looking at getting around 32% of the vote, and he said that was a catastrophe for his party, and he has called snap elections for the lower chamber, the legislative elections that will be held over two dates on June the 30th and July the 7th, and this is how he responded to that news in a televised address earlier this evening.
In Europe and in the world.
French President Emmanuel Macron ending Tony Connolly's report. Now we'll have more election coverage later, but now time for the sports news. Here's Eamon.
Thanks indeed, Eileen. Good evening to you. Well, Limerick are the Munster hurling champions again. John Kiley's all-conquering side had 6 points to spare over Clare. So it's disappointment for the banner, while Limerick can now savour an historic 6 provincial titles in a row.
As so often with Clare and Limerick, these teams were hard to separate today. The league champions challenging the reigning Munster and All-Ireland title holders. The first 15 minutes were tight and physical, and there was no shortage of quality scores. Clare had a goal chance in the 17th minute.
And a brilliant save! What a fantastic save by Nicky Quaid!
But otherwise, it was an exchange of white flags until Limerick pushed on, and when Shane O'Brien popped up in the 33rd minute, it was a 4-point game. Clare struggled to retain their own puckouts at times. Despite Nicky Quaid's heroics, they had one last say in the half, which tied it up 110 to 13 points.
Here, Nicky Bravo, great save.
Limerick opened up a 3-point lead within 10 minutes of the restart, but the real blow came in the 46th minute. Eivor Quilligan caught off his line by Garrod Hegarty.
Watch him hesitate in the bottom of your screen. Will I, won't I, won't I? And Garrod Hegarty is just too good.
There was a chance for Clare to stage a comeback, but when Tony Kelly found Mark Rogers, the Scariff man somehow hit the post.
What a pass from Kelly. Look at this, into the hand of Rogers. Just pass it into the net.
And from there, Limerick were Limerick. John Kiley's men went on to record a 6-point win for their 6th Munster title in a row.
The Munster Championship is just so difficult. Like, it's incredible to even think that we've done 6 in a row. But to be honest with you, I don't really care about the 6 in a row. I just wanted to win the 2024 Munster Championship because it just puts us in a great position again going forward this year. I know the last couple of years have been unbelievable. It's probably something that we'll look back on in time to say, how the hell did we do that? But right now, I'm just so happy that we're in All-Ireland semi-final.
More history made by the Treaty Men. Ivani Cullen, RTE News.
Ciara McGeehan and Sarah Healy will go shortly in the women's 1500 metres final at the European Athletics Championships. Rashida Adeleke and Charlene Maudsley were among those to advance in Rome.
Friday's gold medal win enhanced Rashida Adeleke's growing reputation. Always comfortable in the spotlight, qualification for tomorrow's 400 metres final was expected. With a top 2 finish required to guarantee progression, Adeleke eased to a comfortable win.
And your mum was on the home straight. You didn't hear her shouting at you?
You know what? For the first time I actually did hear her, she was so loud. And I was like, relax, I can see myself on the screen.
You would think she'd be tired after Friday night?
No, she's never tired, I tell you that.
2 Irish women will line up for tomorrow's final. Charlene Maudsley finished second in her semi-final heat. Sophie Becker failed to progress.
I knew Claver was going to come up on top of me and my plan was to stay with her. I think she dug really deep towards the last 100 and I knew I was in second position, so I just wanted to hold that.
After finishing 4th in his 400 metres semi-final, Chris O'Donnell was disqualified for a lane infringement. Paul Smith was 5th in his 200 metre semi. Thomas Barr set the fastest time of the 23 qualifiers for the semi-finals of the 400 metres hurdles. Making her senior European Championships debut, Nicola Tuthill has qualified for the final of the women's hammer throw. Dave Kelly, RTE News.
21-year-old Carlos Alcaraz has won the French Open. The Spaniard was taken to 5 sets by Alexander Zverev. And that's all for now, so it's all yours again. Eileen.
Thanks very much, Eamon.